Aquatica. Today, come with us to do service on a client's tank.
What's in the tiny itty bitty little box, Steve?
Well, we have a pump failure here, and this pump is the one that drives the UV sterilizer. So this is more than just a service today. Right now I need to go purge the UV sterilizer of stagnant water, install a new pump, and then make sure the system's running correctly.
What's the UV sterilizer?
Oh, UV sterilizer is this laser that shoots, it goes pew pew pew. Just kidding. UV sterilizer is a piece of equipment Aquatica highly recommends. It helps with eliminating parasites, helps with eliminating algae, general cleanliness. If you don't have a UV sterilizer, let's get one on your tank. Alright, now let's start going over the processes of service on this tank. First thing we're going to do, shut it down. So inside the cabinet here, I'm going to turn off the skimmer, the return pumps, and then we're also going to figure out which plug isolates the UV sterilizer and shut that down. Now what we want to do is we want to get the flow off. We're going to come in and clean the glass, we're going to go through the sand, we're going to address any issues that we see while we're in here, and then you'll see us change out that pump.
Alright, so what I just did essentially is I got the magnet out, our flipper max edge, I believe, and we scraped the field of the glass, and I made sure that I'm not going to be hitting the seams, because if you do that too much with the scraper, then it's going to erode the seams and cause damage to the tank. So after I was done with the scraper in the field, I hit with we call it the Home Depot brush, toilet brush. It's a cheap brush that we use on service, but it does the job very well. Hit the corners with that to make sure we get any excess buildup. After that, I used our Adobe sponge to check around, see if I missed anything. I hit the water line because there's usually some buildup up there. And then I used our longer attachment for the Adobe sponge, and I hit down in the sand line to get any excess buildup that is on the glass beneath the sand.
What's the next step?
Next step after that is just assessing, walking through the sand with the sand siphon, getting some of the excess detritus and algae off of the sands, siphoning that into the tank before we do the big water pull. We're gonna do about 25 gallons, I believe, today.
Absolutely.
And from then, we're gonna put water back in and continue service.
need to pull some parts off of this pump and switch them over to the new pump. This is the pump that failed that runs the water to the UV sterilizer.
In the middle of the day? Apparently. They've been getting out really aggressive recently. 5 days.
I'm going to explain what's happening here. This is the new return pump that's going in one of the rear chambers. We just switched over the plumbing from the old pump, and we're going to drop this back in. Now this feeds up and over directly into the UV sterilizer down here. You see it right in the back, big white one. There we go. And then it feeds back into the tank. Now, Brody's smiling. I don't know why Brody's smiling. So the problem is we can't just drop this back in and turn everything on. Gabe and I are prepared here. When we turn it back on, there's gonna be stagnant water inside the UV sterilizer. It's gonna be disgusting, and it is gonna be fun getting that out of there. So we're gonna replace that now. While we were working in there, we found another pump that we're going to try and clean and get running. That one seems to be failing as well. So let us get back on this and see what we can do with that, and we'll be right back. That's our issue right there. So there's still crud inside right there. So I'm gonna get a brush and I'm gonna clean that. And in all honesty, this should fire right back up. Okay. Oh! I just removed the output that goes back into the rear chamber that a return pump feeds back in. So the loop of this system is in this all-in-one. One return pump goes up into a set of plumbing down into the UV sterilizer, through the chiller, back up into the rear chamber, and then there's a secondary return pump pumping back into the tank. That was the one that we just fixed. So we replaced one and fixed one. Now what I'm doing is taking this barb and I'm going to attach my siphon tube. Let me use my bear claws. I'm going to hook that back up onto the plumbing line. We're going to pump the garbage water into the trash can. Now that we're done with our makeshift tool to pump out the UV sterilizer, I'm going to put the output line back on the piece of plumbing here, put it back all together like we were never here. Then we're going to run the system in a little bit after we put water back in and check for any leaks or any other issues. But so far, we're looking pretty good. It's about time. Fill this bad boy back up. Fix the plumbing, installed a brand new pump, repaired a pump, purged the line of the dirty water. There's not much else except put the new water back in. First thing we do is we always purge our line just in case there's any leftover water in the hose line from the last job. So give her a little purge, shut her down, and then here we go. All right, guys, part of Aquatica's service is not just coming in and doing a quick water change. We like to go over all of the equipment and check for any faults. Now, as I was filling the tank and doing my final observations before I fired it up, found something that's pretty common and often overlooked. Brody, if you can look right here, that is where the dosing fluids input to the tank. And if we look real closely right there, see that buildup? That's gonna be the buildup off of the alkalinity line. Now that buildup right there hardens the end of the line and does not allow the dosing fluid to get into the tank. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to pull a little slack and I'm gonna snip the ends so they're clean and free of debris and reset them. And then I'm going to check them for proper operation. Another thing that I'm gonna take care of right now, because I am super OCD about things being the right way. I don't know if you guys can see that. You see this light sagging a little bit right here? So while I'm here, let's go ahead and make a slight adjustment. All it takes is a couple seconds. Look at that, it's perfect. All right guys, we're here, okay? So time to fire this up. Now, we were messing around in the plumbing, so as I go through this, I'm gonna be inspecting the plumbing, making sure everything's tight, not leaking. So let's go. We're gonna start with return pump, and down here on number 5 is the UV pump that we just fixed. And we can hear the water in the back. Over here real quick. If you look down here, if you follow this line right down there, you can see that is the water coming off of the UV sterilizer. And that's what we repaired. And this pump, this is the new feed pump that was installed, and this is the one that got repaired. And our UV is up and running. All right guys, we are in the final processes, which is cleanup. Gabe is over here walking out our hose, and we're draining all the water out of the line. We're gonna roll up the hose, put it away. We're gonna dump our trash can. We're gonna clean up our giant mess down here. We're gonna wipe water spots, anything we got on the floor. We're gonna polish, wipe the tank. We're not actually polishing it, but I clean this thing to a mirror finish. You'll see that. And then, put the rug back and close up and make sure it looks like we were never here. All right, Aquatica service, guys. We're complete. Plumbing issues fixed, return pump issues fixed, UV's up and running. Tank had a significant water change today, which is really beneficial for the health of the tank since it's not been running optimally. And we just finished wiping down, Gabe's rolling up, and we're gonna get out of here.